Football's a cruel game, man. You know, a month ago we were coming to this ground dreaming, thinking, what if? And the season was looking good. We were all excited. We were all wondering what's going to happen. And now we know. Now we know. If you didn't already know what was going to happen, now you definitely know. Man City are one game away from becoming Premier League champions for the third season running. And we dared to disrupt that. We dared to kind of get involved in that mix and get in their way. But it wasn't to be, man. And look, you know, we're going to analyse this season, obviously, and you can either analyse it versus what you thought would happen at the start of the season, or you can analyse it versus what you thought would happen like 4 weeks, 6 weeks ago. And when you look at it versus the start of the season, you say to yourself, do you know what? It's a really, really good season, and we've beaten our objective, and you view it really positively. If you compare it to what you thought was going to happen or what you might have wanted to happen 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, then yep, we've failed and we've come up short. Let me know in the comments how you see it. Is this sort of, you know, a bad season in that we could have won the league and really some unacceptable performances have cost us that? Or do you view it as, no, listen, a season of brilliant progress and overall a really, really positive season, a developmental season, and something that we're going to build upon? There's been a lot of talk, in my view, about failure recently at the elite level. There was like, I can't remember his name, but a high-level basketball player talking about failure and saying there's no such thing as failure in sports. I personally think people are a bit too scared to admit that they've failed. Failure is part of life, and life isn't as intense as elite level, top level sports. Failure is a massive part of top level sports, and it's a big important part of the journey towards success. You might never ever get to success, because success is not what you know, unless we're being really, really soft about it, success is not what you define it as. Success is trophies. In elite level sports, success comes in the form of shiny metal trophies. Anything else than that is failure. But that's fine. That is fine, because, and I'm not saying it's, you know, I'm not saying accept failure, but I'm saying you don't have to deny it. You have to deny its existence. Yes, Arsenal failed this season. I mean, but when you look at the fact that there's only four trophies available for, you know, all the teams in the Premier League, guaranteed 16 minimum, are going to fail. It might be that Man City, who are now, 4 games away from a treble, it might be that they hoggle the success, everyone else has failed. But, you know, there's different levels of failure. And yes, even though this season is going to end up in no trophies, and I still look at the Europa League and I think what a missed opportunity that was, because I think we should have been favourites for that and we should have won that. But now we're going to go empty-handed. And what a shame, because this group deserved more. Look at this. Obviously some clowns trying to get on the pitch or do something stupid, being escorted away now. Anyway, listen, I'm proud of this season. I'm proud of the performances so far this season. Obviously today was a shocker. Bukayo Saka, who's been an absolute gem, and it's for me in the team of the year in the Premier League. He had a mare, he really did. Martinelli going off so early, that disrupted us. I think Arteta with his sub-choices was really disappointing. Arteta hasn't actually covered himself in glory when it comes to the substitutions that he has made in recent weeks. Taking Jesus off, who I thought at the time they took him off was looking really lively. It was almost like he thought to himself, that's it, I'm going to just try things myself. And what he was trying, generally, he looked really, really dangerous. And I feel like he hasn't been doing enough of that, you know. Jesus is such a talented player. And there was one moment in the game where, I'll talk about, I'm a 5 at 5 tomorrow, that I just thought, just showed off just how much of a brilliant footballer he is. So I thought it was a bit frustrating to take him off at that time and then taking Ødegaard off. Ødegaard is in good form, and I just don't know what you're thinking when you take Ødegaard off. I'm happy to see Emile Smith-Rowe get minutes because he hasn't had enough this season. But leave Ødegaard on. Let's face it, Bukayo Saka struggled today, and that's fine. You're going to struggle. Not every single week are you going to be able to smash it. And he's got over 20 goal contributions this season, man. Saka has killed it this season. And yesterday he had a bad game, didn't get any joy. You should be taking him off, man, and just, you know, taking him out of the firing line a little bit. So I think Arteta's got his subs wrong. Let me know if you agree or not in the comments, but that's how I saw it. But you know what? Let's talk about Brighton today. Arsenal went to Brighton New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, I think it was. And I was at that game and I could not believe how well we played. And I remember that game was after Man City had dropped points, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was to Brentford or something. And it was a case of high pressure for Arsenal away from home at a very good team. And we went and absolutely killed it. But today, Man City cranked up the pressure on us in a different way by winning a really, really good performance away at Everton. And Arsenal, I don't really know if this was falling in terms of pressure or whether it was just sort of Man City doing that vampire act and sucking the life out of us. Be honest with me. After the Man City game, when you, I don't know, came to the stadium or turned it on TV, did you feel a little bit more deflated having seen what Man City had done? Because I did. I kind of felt like, you know, just despondent that Man City just carry on doing what they're doing. It almost feels like no matter what we do, we got to run 10-0 today. Man City just needed 2 wins out of their next 3 and they would have just gone and got them, just how Man City do. Man City are in robot mode. And that was always a risk this season. That's why it was always hard for me to truly believe that we would go and do it. But Brighton were really, really good today. Honestly, I looked at that team and I was really impressed. First 25 minutes of the second half, they absolutely bust it. And you thought Arsenal would come out firing. So many times this season I've said, first 15 minutes of the second half, Arsenal will come out. And Brighton just absolutely killed it. Even after they scored, they never went off their game plan. That's such a hard thing to do. They never let us sort of put the pressure onto them. And the way they played out the back, my God, was brilliant. But you know, I feel like maybe the Arsenal team were a bit deflated. The intensity in the press just was not there for Arsenal. I mean, Gabriel Jesus, for all the praise I was giving him earlier, it's a very simple job that he had to do. Hit that goalkeeper. I understand you might want to angle your run to cut off a pass, but get to that goalkeeper. He was just allowing Steele to kind of take his time over releasing the ball. It was like, oh my God, in the North Bank, we could see it. We were getting so frustrated. I'm sure that's not why he came off. It's a simple instruction that Arteta needs to give to him. Hit harder in that press. But also, Jesus had no support. Maybe he felt that he needs to be a bit coy with it, because if he goes too quick, it'll just be a simple ball behind him. But maybe that's when another midfielder needs to be brave and come and join that press. When you're losing, you need to be a bit more brave. It wasn't Arsenal's day today. It wasn't a good performance. We battered them at their place. They've come and got revenge and battered us at our place. And it feels like now we're just seeing the season out. Man City, 4 games away from a historic treble. Maybe they'll go and do it. And, you know, really, when I look at it, yes, we failed this season, but failure is part of elite sports and not something, as I said earlier, that you have to run away from. I can admit that. I can say, yeah, Arsenal failed, but there was still a lot to be positive about this season and a lot of positive signs for the future. And if we are going to fail at Man City's expense, do you know what? I don't think there's a lot of shame in that. We just have to make sure that we harness this failure. We use it as a motivator for next season and go one better next season, stay in that title race next season and convert it into a trophy. When it comes to cup competitions, make a better fist of it. Again, we went out to Man City in the FA Cup. That's never going to be easy, but make a better fist of the cup competitions. And listen, it's not going to be easy to win the Champions League. I think we should have won the Europa League this season, but let's go and do a good job in the Champions League as well. And all of that starts from the summer transfer activity. And Caicedo today showed his class and his strength. Him or Declan Rice, because Jude Bellingham's a bit of a dream. Though any one of those 3 players that I just mentioned can really strengthen this team. Anyway, I'm going to head home now. Arsenal, a good season. Unfortunately, not a great one.